We've got a lot going on at the moment. Probably the biggest trend we're seeing is the movement towards the cloud, of course, establishing collaboration as a platform in the cloud, which is always on, which is always utilising the best user experience, and people are actually able to very simply use that. Added to that, the advent of things like artificial intelligence to give you essentially, an assistant, a virtual assistant in your collaboration tools that, usually has been the realms of the C-suite. We can actually now utilise technology to provide that sort of capability for everybody.
So this assistant will help you in your collaborations if you got questions, or how does it work?
Certainly that's the development path that we're on with that. We're using the assistant right now so that you walk into the room recognises who you are, it checks your calendar, it ascertains that you have a meeting, and all you need to do is please say, start my meeting. So we've always been after making video easy to use, and now with the artificial intelligence built within the system and its recognition of you, you can do that actually just using your voice.
How are you working around, should we say, security in this area, integration and the recognition part, if you understand what I mean?
Yes, from the ground up, we've built security into it, so it's fully encrypted, at rest, in transit, everything's encrypted. The security piece is large, and of course, Cisco's the largest security business in the world, and so you would expect to find that in our collaboration portfolio as well.
And it's obviously a very good way for the environment to work on, not traveling so much and so forth. But are there any additional values working this way?
Well, so I think on that, a personal story, if I might. So I've just taken up this role. I lived in Australia, but I live in Australia in a remote part of Australia. So I was actually off a 3,000-acre cattle station, and I worked remotely. And so if you think about that, so yes, it minimises the travel, but what it also does is it enables executives of multinational organisations to live in regional areas, which often struggle, with population moving towards the city. So we can actually reverse that trend as well as sort of minimise it. And the other thing which was so powerful for me was utilising these tools. On a Monday, I could be visually represented in high def in Singapore, in San Jose, in fact anywhere. And so the power of me as a professional was significantly amplified, even though I hadn't left my home, hadn't gone out the front door.
And what are the reasons people, should we say, usually give you if they're hesitant to start using these tools?
Oh, look, it's the camera. Turning that camera on can provide people with some hesitation, particularly when it's in your own home. Yeah. But there isn't anything better than face-to-face communication, and we do. We've seen organisations where the executives have actually mandated the cameras go on because they want to facilitate the sorts of collaboration that they saw in our demonstrations and what we saw was possible. And as soon as you crack that, as soon as people start using them and everybody uses them, there's no way back. You'll never ever sit around a staff phone on an audio-only call once you've had your video interactions.
And in the coming few months or years, perhaps, what are your greatest expectations from these tools? How are you planning on developing them? Oh,
so certainly. So there's going to be a lot more cloud. There's going to be certainly a lot more development on the artificial intelligence front. But I think right now we've got such an established roadmap of integrations with third-party organisations where we were actually able to bring our collaboration tools and place it in the workflows of the organisations. They might use Oracle, they might use SAP, they might use Office 365, and we can put all of our extraordinary collaboration tools embedded in that workflow, which defines the organisation's value.